Hey everyone, how's it going? Today I'm going to talk about a topic that I know many of us may not want to face. I'll talk about it though, because at the end of the day, many of us today are giving up. And I'm not talking about you specifically or maybe some people in your circle, but I'm saying in general, many men and sometimes women, but many are just giving up. And it's sad to see because this is what you see at the end of empires, right? People kind of just give up, they stay at home, they sloth around, they eat, drink, and be merry, right? And, over the past 10 years, maybe 15, 20 years, we've seen a shift. And this shift has been towards kind of work hard, make the best of your life, and keep getting better, get those certifications, and do things to optimize your life. And we've seen a shift more now towards degeneracy, gambling, people shifting towards weed, alcohol, just sinful activities, vices. And furthermore, we've seen people just kind of give up, not even look for a job. I know many people personally, and again, will never name names, especially on a podcast, but I know many people personally that literally just don't even want to find a job right now. And they don't want to find a job, and they're not even looking. They're just out of the labor force. And I sometimes wonder how they can support it, but they do. And they just don't eat, they don't work, they don't generate income, they'll wake up late, and, I don't think it's a good thing. But there's many working age men that I think they do want better for their lives, but they realize, wait a second, if I want better for my life, that means I'm going to have to sacrifice so much. For example, I'm going to have to sit in a cubicle all day, or I'm going to have to do something that I don't like to make money that is not very good, to pay taxes to the government 6 months out of the year, to risk getting in an accident every day, wasting hours on commute, there's so many cons right now to working, and you can't even afford rent, right? So imagine that. Imagine working 40 hours a week, 40 hours of your life energy going to a job, and you could barely afford your 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom rental. Or even imagine this. Imagine you get a mortgage and you have $3,400 a month, and now you're trapped. You're a slave, right? So I think people just realize, you know what? I don't even want that. I don't even want to be an owner. I'm just going to get this small rental and I'm just going to stack. Or I'm going to just not follow that traditional path because clearly it's going to keep me in this bad loop. So, these jobs, they're not even paying good anymore. There's so many jobs being created, but all of them pay maybe $16, $18, $19 an hour. And I don't know about you guys, but here in Arizona, I don't know how you can survive off of $18 an hour or 25. And it's just sad because you're seeing this, like you're just seeing right now in California, 10,000 fast food workers just laid off. Well, guess what? They just passed the minimum wage to $20 an hour. And then a few weeks later, they laid off all those people because now they realize, wait, we can't hire all of them. So, I think we're going to see a lot of artificial intelligence replace a lot of office jobs. So it's going to drive a lot of these tasks to a more programmable future. And you're starting to realize, wait a second, like everything I learned in school is obsolete now. Everything that I've done doesn't matter because my job is going to be taken in a few years by an AI. So then you start to think, well, what should I do, right? And because I don't want to be caught naked skinny dipping, right? I don't want to be without a job and be one of those people that, so then a lot of people, they have to lean into the change or they have to be taken out. And many people are just taken out. Not working for many is just like a full-time vacation year round. So we got to ask ourselves, what can we do to stay resilient into this future? Why should many try if everything that you're working towards is getting further and further away? That's what people are asking themselves. Why try if everything, it's like, if you're not in the rich, you're not going to get richer. If you're not in the middle class, you're definitely not going to get in now because the middle class is shrinking significantly. And if you're in the poor, you're in the poor. what worse can happen? You can get food stamps. So I just see a lot of that mentality right now, and it's really sad. So we gotta think about like the younger generations, or the older generations, like the silent generation, the baby boomers, the Gen Xers. They never had all of these headwinds going against them when they were in the workforce. And our younger generation now, we have all these headwinds facing us and converging all at once. So how can we position ourselves to not be taken out by these headwinds? Many people feel like the harder they work, the outcome's the same. Whether I work 60 hours a week or 25 hours a week, I could be just as rich, right? In fact, if I work the 25 hours a week or the 20 hours a week, maybe the extra 20 hours a week, I could day trade and make an extra 30 to 50, 80 grand. So why would I even take an in-office job? Because then I'm not able to make the money on the side. So it's very interesting what I'm seeing people do. I know people I know people that don't want to get promoted too, because they know if they get promoted, they're going to have to come in an office. And it's very expensive to hire childcare. So they're like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. So then you see less people trying to move up in their career, right? Shouldn't we all try for the best? Shouldn't we all try to like progress to our highest potential? Well, not in today's phony world. So we're seeing a lot of this wealth right now congregate to a few dozen families. In hundreds and hundreds of millions of individuals, they're starting to move down in financial class. And so this wealth aggregating to a few dozen families, don't get me wrong, I'm sure their lives are going great, but a lot of people, they just want out. I know people right now that left the country. They're like, you know what? I'm done with America. These are young people. I know several people, guys. I know like more than half a dozen people personally that have left the United States for good and just said, you know what? I'm done. I'm done living like this. And I may not make six figures, but you want to know what? 100K in Thailand, El Salvador, or Vietnam. That's, that's sad that I can't make that anymore. But guess what? 50K in El Salvador, Vietnam, Thailand is like 150K in those places. Whereas 100K in the United States, that's like making 50K in those places. So if you can see what I'm saying there, it's like things are a little bit backwards. Why work so hard when you are going to be rugged underneath yourself? And you want to know what? You can't even get a middle class life right now for 100 grand a year. Think about that. You can't get a middle class life for 100 grand a year now. And, we're at that point right now where I think people are waking up, people are seeing it, and they're going to be like, okay, you want to know what? If I can't get a middle class life here, I'm going to go somewhere else. And then we start to get something called brain drain. Brain drain is when all the smartest people in your country, the best producers, the most capable, they start leaving. And when you have brain drain happen, that's really bad because these people could be future entrepreneurs, future job creators, future politicians. And now they're serving another country's economy. So I think there's so much work that needs to be unraveled about all this stuff that's happening. But when I talk about an erosion of purpose and many are giving up, I'm talking about people that are millennials and younger. And they're just like, you know what? There's no way. I'm 80 grand in debt for my college. I make 70 grand a year. And the average house is 600 grand. And interest rates are 8%. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm just going to give up. I hope people never give up, though, through their life. That would be really sad and tragic. I really hope that would never happen. But I know people that just choose to give up in the United States and just move somewhere else. And that would be highly, highly, highly recommended. Never, ever do anything bad to yourself, no matter how bad conditions get, because things can always turn around. But anyways, guys, like many of us right now are unhappy because we compare in social media. We're addicted to our smartphones. We don't have the income that supports what we see on media, on our smartphones, on TV, etc. And Many of us that we can't find a suitable partner either. We're always chasing something a little bit bigger and a little bit better, and we just can't. We can't get there. So many of us, we're struggling to find a purpose. And at the end of the day, we will find our purpose over time. But we, as a society, we got to be a glue to each other. We need to be the glue. We need to be the fabric in society that holds each other together. Because if not, it's going to fall apart from a work standpoint, and people are just going to leave. People are going to move on. If things got worse here, I would consider leaving too. So I don't blame people. I'm a patriot. I love this country. I write to my politicians as much as I can. But at the end of the day, I shop for countries just like I shop for groceries, like I shop for things. I'm not going to go down with the ship and ruin my life because of a socialist government. It's not going to happen here. I will fight till the end, though. Anyways, at the end of the day, we need to increase our self-esteem as well, because we need to make it so we have more opportunities and a trajectory that is better for the future. We need to increase our self-esteem, and then we got to be more positive, because I'll tell you what, one thing that won't improve our lives is a bad attitude. And as cheesy as that sounds, it's true. I've been naturally negative throughout my life, and I'll tell you, it has never served me well. So guys, what do you think? Do you think men are giving up women? What are you thinking that people are doing right now? And what could you do, right? Not just like what are people doing? What could you do to make it so people see more hope in the future? Because at the end of the day, there's a lot to be kind of frustrated, upset about, whether it's politics, whether it's war, whether it's finances, or just the broader macroeconomic conditions. There's a lot to be upset about. But in the end, we need to remain level-headed. We need to remain strong. Anyways, guys, please feel free to stream some sats. I enjoyed putting this one together. And at the end of the day, you guys mean the world. I'll see you in the next one.